Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, during a live press conference Monday morning, Governor Kenneth Mapp provided the latest update on the plans for the Hovensa refinery. He also revealed the latest lawsuit the government filed against the refinery's owners. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
Hovensa's oil storage terminal could soon have a buyer.
In mid-August, I received a telephone call from Attorney George Dudley, representing the Hess Oil Company, advising me that Hess Oil had acquired, or believed they had acquired, a buyer for a portion of the refinery.
The news just one of the details coming out of Governor Kenneth Mapp's recent meeting with Hess Oil during a New York trip.
ArcLight is very interested in purchasing the asset facilities at a portion of the refinery of St. Croix, and Hess advises that the purchase price for that segment of the asset is $190 million.
ArcLight Capital is only interested in the storage terminal for now. The refinery's remaining assets would still be up for sale. Hovensa's parent company Hess Oil plans to file bankruptcy on the Hovensa facility, but they've indicated they will pay $40 million owed to the VI government for contamination. It's not sitting well with the VI government, who filed a lawsuit Monday morning. The
government would be due a $92 million payment, for which Hess is prepared to commit only to paying $40 million. The government of the Virgin Islands has filed a civil action against Hess Oil Corporation in the Superior Court of the Virgin Islands, seeking a 100% return of all of our tax exemptions and incentives given since 1965. This amounts to approximately, or in excess of, $6.5 billion.
The government won't use the general fund to pay for the legal fight against Hovensa. Instead, Governor Mapp plans to fund the cost through a contingency arrangement on a sliding scale.
It will come from the law firm Cohen and Milstein out of Washington, D.C., who will fund this litigation on behalf of the territory.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Hovensa officials issued a statement late Monday saying they have reached an agreement with Limetree Bay Holdings, an affiliate of ARC Light Capital Partners, to buy the terminal. The company would still need to reach an operations agreement with the VI government in order to move forward. Well, some more members of the governor's cabinet are finally official. On Monday, following that press conference, 9 of the governor's cabinet were sworn in during a ceremony at Government House. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
The commissioners of Public Works, Tourism, Labor, Human Services, and Licensing and Consumer Affairs are finally official. So too are the directors of Internal Revenue, Vitima, Management and Budget, and the head of the National Guard.
I, Marvin Pickering, Billy Carrington,
Deborah White-Howell,
Mona Lisa Barnes,
Vivian I. Ensign Flood, Stephanie Nicholson Doty, Catherine Ann Hendry,
Gustav James, Madam Mallory.
The 9 cabinet-level members were sworn in simultaneously by Supreme Court Justice Maria Cabret, their families at their side.
I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States.
With the exception of the Vitima Director and National Guard's Adjutant General, it's been a yo-yo ride for the other 7 cabinet members who had to be renominated after they failed to be confirmed by senators in May. One by one, each pledged their commitment to the administration.
Governor Mapp and Lieutenant Governor Potter, thank you for the opportunity to serve as a member of your cabinet. I do not take it lightly.
I am committed to making this agency better than I found it.
I am so happy that I'm able to stand here because I'm driven and I have a passion to serve.
The National Guard's Adjutant General Deborah Howell was unexpectedly promoted to Brigadier General at the conclusion of the swearing-in ceremony.
Effective immediately, I appoint you to the rank of Brigadier General.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
A Delaware family continues to struggle after a harrowing encounter with the deadly poison and all while they were on vacation on St. John. And this is an update on the health condition of the two boys, a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old, plus the status on the pesticide certifications in the territory. News News April Knight has more.
6 months after the Esmond family was poisoned while vacationing on St. John, the two children are still having difficulty eating or walking. The parents, Steve Esmond and Teresa Devine, took their children Ryan and Sean to Sirenusa Resort back in March, but ended up being shipped off island for treatment after a local Terminix applicator sprayed the next unit with a restricted pesticide called methyl bromide. A CDC study in March found that in addition to the Esmond family, some 37 other people in the area were potentially exposed to the fatal chemical. These include personnel from Terminix, emergency responders, and the condominium staff. Since the tragic incident, the Department of Planning and Natural Resources imposed a stop-use order on methyl bromide, as well as stricter regulations for pesticide applicators. But even those efforts are now being called into question. A recent CNN report cited the territory's failures in oversight, and one specialist agrees. Joe Williamson, head of UVI's pesticide education program, has been critical of DPNR regarding some federal funding that he says never went to pesticide certification trainings for St. Thomas and St. John.
With their recent history of how long it takes them to process policy and different things, it's very likely that this could extend beyond the four-year limit to where we could possibly even be without anyone with certification. News 2 has reached out to the Office of the Commissioner of the Department of Planning and Natural Resources for comments, but have not received a response as of news time. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
And News 2 will keep you updated on any comments we receive from the Department of Planning and Natural Resources, as well as the recovery of the Esmond family. Well, this week, officials from the Department of Health are hosting Townhall forums in conjunction with the Centers for Disease Control. The forums will allow residents to talk about concerns surrounding public health in the territory. Residents can also share recommendations to help improve local health care, as well as identifying solutions for challenges in serving the local population. The St. Thomas meeting was held Monday afternoon, but the St. Croix Town Hall is coming up this Friday at the VI Cardiac Center. It begins at 2:30 p.m. Anyone who does wish to speak live at the Town Hall can email questions in advance to townhall@healthusvi.org. Turning our attention to the courts on Monday, September 14th, Jamoy Kadeem Karaspi, 22, pleaded guilty in district court on St. Thomas to conspiracy to ship firearms with obliterated serial numbers. Sentencing is scheduled for January 4th, 2016. According to the plea agreement filed with the court between August 6, 2013 and October 7th, 2013, Karaspi conspired with other individuals to unlawfully mail firearms with obliterated serial numbers from Jacksonville, Florida to St. Thomas. He directed the shipping of 2 firearms from Jacksonville to St. Thomas, a Smith & Wesson Model SD4 OVE 40 caliber pistol and a Glock Model 20 10mm pistol, both with obliterated serial numbers. He faces a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Also on Monday, September 14th, Lewis Brown, 44, pleaded guilty in district court in St. Thomas to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. According to that plea agreement filed with the court on May 22nd, 2015, VIPD officers responded to a report that a vehicle was blocking the exit at Antilles School. Upon arrival at the scene, officers observed Brown, the sole occupant of the vehicle, sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle. The officers also observed a firearm between the driver's seat and center console of the vehicle, which they immediately confiscated. Brown faces a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Turn our attention overseas. New York City is gearing up for the arrival of Pope Francis next week. It's going to be his first official visit to the United States, and officials are making sure nothing goes wrong. The Secret Service and multiple other law enforcement officials sat around a table Monday preparing for the worst during the Pope's upcoming visit. Pope Francis arrives in New York on September 24th. The round table is meant to go over all worst-case scenarios to decide how the city would react during his 2-day visit. Everything from a power outage to active shooters to a building collapse. Mayor Bill de Blasio and the police commissioner looked on. Security measures already include screening the checkpoints and a ban on balloons, selfie sticks, and backpacks. Keeping our eye on the economy, the U.S. stock market drifted lower Monday ahead of a much-anticipated Federal Reserve meeting later this week. More signs of a slowing economy. Economic growth in China weighed on prices for copper and other commodities, driving stocks of raw material producers down. Oil and gas companies fell, along with the price of crude oil. And here's a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. Everything down. The Dow down 62, NASDAQ 16, S&P 500 8. Coming up on News 2, back-to-school traffic headaches as the construction continues. But now some good news. Brookman Road is due to reopen to the public for two-way traffic next week. Welcome back. Virgin Islands Port Authority's Executive Director Carlton Dow invites all off-airport car rental companies on St. Thomas to meet with Port Authority officials at a final meeting, they say, relative to the new operational procedures, programs, and fee implementation at the Cyril King Airport. That meeting will be held at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, September 15th in the VIPA Administrative Buildings Conference Room, which is located on the 3rd floor. For more information, you're asked to contact the VIPA Public Relations Office. That number is 340-774-1629, extension 6639. And just a note from the BMV for those who are planning ahead, Director Lawrence Olive of the Bureau of Motor Vehicles he says effective Thursday, October 1st, there will be new hours of operation, and he wants to get this message across. Vehicle inspection are from 8 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. Road test on St. Thomas and St. Croix, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on St. John. And the lobby hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now, that change of hours will affect all office of operation throughout the territory, Monday through Friday, and again, that begins in October. Life could soon go back to normal for residents and business owners who use Brookman Road on St. Thomas. The road has been under major repairs for months, but one lawmaker who's been watching its progress is saying the road will fully be opened very soon. News 2's April Knight has more.
Brookman Road, an important thoroughfare on St. Thomas, will soon be open to two-lane vehicular traffic. That's according to Senator Marvin Blyden, who's been following the road repairs for months.
Both lanes will be open, so I was very happy to hear that. The folks that have been complaining will be very happy to hear that too. Like, as you know, we had a town hall meeting, and out of those meetings came a lot of suggestion and solution, and this is the end result of that.
Back in May, heavy rains collapsed an entire section of the road, undoing the progress made by construction crews who were already working on it. The road became one lane due to repairs and worsened to a completely impassable pile of dirt and metal. Progress was made a couple of months later when the same section has opened one lane to traffic, slightly easing the negative impact on businesses. And now two-lane access is expected by next week, Wednesday, according to Senator Blyden. Senator Blyden said the road could not be opened to school buses earlier in time for school opening because it could push back the project's completion further.
Yeah, he said it would push it back by at least 2 to 3 weeks. So after conversation back and forth, it made sense to let them complete it because I felt we could wait a few extra days, more days, you know.
According to the senator, he's confident that the newly repaired road can weather whatever storm from here on.
Every step of the way I've been in that area. They have done many design and engineering that we have not done before. So yes, I am very confident.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Senator Blyden thanks the residents and business owners for their patience and gives kudos to the Department of Public Works. The VI Waste Management Authority advises the public and residents of the Frangipani area that the Frangipani Sewer System Rehabilitation Project will begin on Wednesday, September 16th. The Frangipani Sewer System Project represents the continuing efforts of the Waste Management's plans to upgrade the aged wastewater infrastructure in the territory. The project consists of the replacement of 275 linear feet of 6-inch ductile iron sewer line, reconnection of 5 residential laterals to new sewer lines, and the rehabilitation of 3 manholes, as well as replacement of 270 linear feet of chain link fencing. Completion, they say, is expected within 6 months. The work is not expected to impact area residents. Rotary east of St. Thomas did their part to welcome students back and got them off on the right foot. On Monday morning, they gave out about 40 school bags to the students at Yvonne Bowski Elementary School. Not only did the students receive the bags, but inside were other school supplies. The students happily accepted the gifts with bright smiles. Rotary East has plans to donate to other schools. Kudos to Rotary. Meanwhile, the Virgin Islands Department of Education, in conjunction with the Mapp Potter administration, hosted the first annual opening of school celebration service. That was Sunday, September 13th at the St. Thomas Assembly of God Church in Estate Content. The event brought together top educational officials, parents, students, teachers, and administrators for a time of prayer and praise. The gathering also reflected the solidarity of those in attendance with embracing the department's 2015-2016 theme, Transformation Through Teamwork. A similar gathering is planned on St. Croix for Sunday, September 20th. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next. There's a tropical disturbance out there. Bernie is tracking the tropic. We'll have the latest.